BBN Jack Froze. What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We got a lot to talk about. I want to be clear. I want to be clear about something. I want this to be as comprehensive as possible. So, we've been talking about the economy for the last few days. And so, a lot of the things that we have been discussing are not revolutionary. I just want to be clear on this, because I don't want to make it sound like I am some kind of economic genius, because I am not. Many of the things that we were discussing were just the way it works. Just economics 101. It was nothing special. I want to be clear on this, because by it being nothing that was too much out of the realm of what would normally happen, if these things happen, that would be the normal reaction. How the market would adjust, or how corporations and industry would adjust. That's all we were discussing. The reason why I'm saying that is because there is zero reason why the Democratic Party, if they were for the American people, would have been telling you anything otherwise. And the proof of that is, why don't I just show you some of the proofs is over here. Oh man, I was supposed to upload something that I started to show a little too early. I'm gonna have to go get it though. Let me see it.
What's your message?
No, that's not it. But let me show you the proof real quick. Now, the point that I'm trying to make here is everything that I'm about to say in this video, after this, the Democrats either should have known, did know that this was going to be the outcome. And everything that they were telling you was, like I told you yesterday, it was just lies. It wasn't that they didn't know.
How concerned are you?
Wrong one. Wrong one. Hold on.
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they've been talking about tariffs for decades.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker?
It says to the Chinese that their unfair trade policies have got to end. It says to the Chinese, this is a shot across your bow. Reform, because if you don't, there are going to be dramatic consequences.
How come when these Democrat elites want tariffs, everything's hunky-dory, but when President Trump wants tariffs, all hell breaks loose? Do you see this double standard?
I love this guy, whoever the hell that is. That's really nice. I appreciate that question. No, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, everybody knew you had to do it, but they never had the guts to do it. It does take guts. It even takes guts for our country to go through it. That's why I say be cool. They were saying about, see, just be cool. It's going to work out. It's going to work out, and it's working out. I can tell you, working out maybe faster than I thought. But I said it's going to take a little conditioning. It's a transition to. It's really, I think it's a transition to greatness. It's going to be greatness. Our country is going to be. There'll be nothing like it, and people investing in our country, they're going to do better than they've ever done before.
So before I even explain to you all of the good things that are happening because of the tariff situation, Trump has just flipped the whole entire world upside down and forced for the cream, which is America, to rise to the top. So hold on. Because you see, often when we discuss these things, what happens is you have the Democrats yelling out lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. So the conversation can never happen. But it's going to happen today. There's a reason why I don't like nitpickers. Because nitpickers be knowing you right. They just want to prevent you from explaining how you are right. So let me show you something. Oh, I got to tell you something first. Do y'all remember when Trump said, during when he was campaigning or whatever the case is, do y'all remember when Trump said he's going to force people to come to the table and negotiate? Because I remember when he said that. He said he's going to force the nations of the world to come together and negotiate. You see, in the 1980s, I believe, Trump wrote this book called The Art of the Deal. So let me explain to y'all real quick what the tariffs. First, let's talk about the tariffs being paused. I guess that's where we should start, with the paused tariffs, right? So Trump has hiked up the tariffs against China. But every other country, he paused raising the tariffs to reciprocal tariffs. What he has done, though, is kept an overall 10% tariff on everything. I'm going to explain that again, because Democrats, they're just liars at this point. And I'm talking about the elected officials. They're just liars at this point. So what happened was this. Trump threatened everyone on the planet, as we all know, with reciprocal taxes, which is actually fair. Now, the issue with this is most other countries that are importing into America, they're importing the goods into America. A lot of them are actually on good standings with us. So when Trump says, I'm going to do reciprocal taxes, and those nations are like, that's going to hurt us, we'd rather go down to zero. Trump says, hold your horses. Because Trump was trying to see who was going to buck. Trump wanted to see, whose side are you on? Are you siding with China or are you siding with us? Now, Russia's not even in the whole equation because they went and signed the freaking minerals deal with us early, or at least a promissory note to. Who are the three biggest powers on the planet that we know of? That earthly, as far as human beings and our governments go? China, U.S., Russia. So now, Trump goes to get ready to sign a deal, or it's a promissory note to sign a deal with Russia. So now China is standing alone. Let me back up a little bit so you can even have a little bit more context about what the issue is. You know that Tim Walz, before he was elected the governor early in his youth, when he was like still in school or something like that, he was over in China and he's some kind of like honorary government official to China. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? Okay, one more thing about China real quick. Did y'all know that most of the fentanyl that's coming into America, almost all of it that's coming through Canada, is either manufactured in Canada by Chinese workers or coming from China to Canada into America? Did y'all know that? So now we have government officials who have loyalty to China, a nation that is flooding our country, a country that is flooding our nation with the deadly fentanyl drug. So we have beef with China. Now, why is this a tariff situation an issue? And how is all of this wrapped together? Real quick, I want you to understand something. Do I got the clip? I think the clip was too long, so I didn't put it in the chat. But I'll say what it is as I look for the clip. So, y'all know the dude, I forget the dude, but he's like a real big financial wizard. And he often goes on these news shows and he talks about finances. I forgot his name. So I can't remember his name right now. In any regard, he went on one of these news shows and he's a big business owner. He owns a lot of companies and corporations. And he said one of the things that China actually do when we go and have them build our product and then they're gonna ship the product over here so we can sell it. One of the things that they actually do is they steal the design for our product and then they make a cheap knockoff and then they ship the knockoff into the market that we are in. That's underhanded. Why do you think you got so many things that's made out of China that is like, these guys is the same thing as that thing, the same thing as that thing. I'm going to give you a real big situation that most of us should know about in the hip-hop community. Remember when Soulja Boy had that Soulja Boy video game and they got sued because they stole the design for a different video game console system? So that's why no one got one? Who is he partners with? China. So hold on. Trump does the taxes. He drops everybody else's taxes and puts it on freeze. Why is he doing that? Because Trump has forced everyone to the negotiation table. He was never, if he didn't have to, enact reciprocal tariffs because it's about growing the American economy, and he's only using tariffs as the whip. Now he's going to show them the carrot. I got another thing to show y'all.
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they've been talking about tariffs for...
See, the problem with the Democrats is this, and I'm not talking about the voters. I'm talking about your elected officials, the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's. The problem is this. They are scared they are about to go to prison. They are scared their entire legacy is about to go down the shitter. They are scared that they're about to be known historically as criminals. This is the fear that they have. This is why they need you to hate Trump. These people do not care about us. Why were they so for taxes until Trump was for, why were they so for tariffs before Trump was for tariffs? I'm going to explain. They were never for tariffs. They used the conversation of tariffs to adjust the market. Let me show you something real quick. See, this is what I mean. Okay, we'll have this discussion. All right. We'll have this discussion. It's cool. Hold on. Let me get a window up over here. So they used tariffs to adjust the market. What should I put? I need for you to look at that. You want to know why? What's that Timo Obama guy? What's his name? Hakeem Jeffries? He's Timo Obama, right? So I want to just let you hear. what he said Trump was doing real quick before we read this article. Let's be fair. Let's get his side of the story. What is going on with this? Why is this on Facebook? I don't want to go to Facebook. Okay, so either he is lying right here, or he doesn't know enough about how the economy works to have the position that he currently has.
The Trump tariffs, which are a tax on the American people, are so reckless, so unstrategic, so lacking in any sophistication, that the only conclusion that one can draw is that Donald Trump and Republicans are intentionally tanking the economy. Is it because, as Donald Trump has indicated, that during tough economic times, the rich get richer, and it's a buying opportunity? Those are Trump's words. Can you confirm?
I need for y'all to understand that he just said that the economy is tanking, and then the explanation he gave at the end is proof that, not proof, but the explanation he gave at the end would be an improving economy. Listen to the last thing he says. This is why I don't trust these people.
Those are Trump's words, and it's a buying opportunity. And it's a buying opportunity. And it's a buying opportunity.
So, do y'all do know how the stock market works, right? I don't know if people know how the stock market works because so many people are Democrats nowadays and believe all of the bullshit that these guys be saying. But basically, when the stock market is doing well, people are buying. When the stock market is doing well, people are buying. How in the hell is he criticizing the stock market doing well?
Can you confirm?
So he basically said, listen, that the thing Trump says that he is going to do is going to cause for there to be buying opportunities. You know what buying opportunities do? This is what I mean.
Opportunity. Buying opportunity. It's a buying opportunity.
And it's a buying. I don't understand how people are getting tricked. I don't get it. Anyway, I can't even look at that no more because now I'm getting mad at our people. That's what they mean by forked tongue. That's what they mean by forked tongue. I promise you that's what they mean. He just spoke with an extremely forked tongue. Anyway, let's get to this. Making sense of the forces driving global markets. Okay, so what's driving global markets? This is what this is about. What is driving global markets? Trump blinks, Wall Street soars. That's the title, I'm guessing. It says, Wall Street clock, one of the best days in history. Wait, hold on. So the Democrats told y'all everything that Trump was doing was going to destroy our economy. I just showed y'all. But factually, the things that Trump did made for one of the best days in the history of the stock of Wall Street. You know how many Democrats are still not going to believe that these are a good idea? They still just going to, but they just going to, I don't know what imaginary thing that they're going to say, but they're going to just still say some imaginary stuff. I promise you, because that's what they do. They just say imaginary stuff. And then their followers then parrot the imaginary things. And now you can't even have a conversation that makes sense with people on the street. While you're talking about logic and common sense, they're talking about imaginary what ifs. Why you're talking about what's actually happening? They're talking about the probability of a thing happening, and that thing happening being something like 1 in a billion. What they're talking about, the probability of the 1 in a million or 1 in a billion thing happening. That's all they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the other percentage, the other rest of it. That's not the possibility to them. They only want to discuss the smallest possible thing that can actually happen. That's the conversation that they want to have. It's just impossible. Wall Street clocked one of the best days in history. On Wednesday, Donald Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs and reduced levies on many countries, triggering a wave of relief that will add trillions of dollars to lost value back onto world stocks. So hold on. So the thing that Donald Trump did actually added trillions of dollars to value that had been lost, not just in American stocks, but on stocks in a global sense. Globally. So y'all don't dislike the Democrats yet? Y'all still love these guys. These guys tell y'all all the lies. They convince y'all to do all of the things that's bad. They're not for anything. I want to explain something. Name me one thing that God agrees with that the Democrats agree with. Just name me one thing. I can't think of one thing that the Democrats promote that God agrees with. I can't think about one thing. Anyway, it was the S&P 500's best day since 2008 and NASDAQ's second best rise on record. So it was the S&P 500's best day since 2008. And it was NASDAQ's second biggest rise on record. How long has NASDAQ been around? I spelled that wrong. So, since February 8, 1971, the thing that Trump did created the second biggest rise in NASDAQ. I don't know if anybody wants me to explain, because I can, by the way. But I don't know if anybody wants me to explain what just happened. I can 100% explain. If anybody asks me, they'll be like, yeah, explain. I'm going to explain. If nobody asks me, I'm not going to explain. I'm just going to keep it pushing. Anyway. Historic moves. It was S&P's 500's best day since 2008 and NASDAQ's second biggest rise on record. Historic moves that will leave investors reeling in a good way for once. But it may be a fragile calm that sets in when the euphoria phrase tariffs on China were increased 100. He went up from 125% again. I think they pushed it up to like 200. I'm not 100% sure. And recent dislocation of U.S. bond market is unlikely to disappear overnight. Why is China buying up U.S. bonds? People should ask that question. I need to go to a commercial break. We're going to be right back. But I want to be clear on something. Oh, what up, Mickey Mantle? Mickey made it. What up, Mickey? I want to be clear about something. I don't want there to be no misinterpretation or misunderstanding. The Democrats are in bed with China. At this point, anybody that does not admit that to themselves, you're either not paying attention or TDS is a real thing. And I'm starting to think some of these people should be put into a mental institution because some of the things that they're doing is so unhinged. We're about to, God forbid, we're about to have another situation because I think there's already one where there was a mass shooting of a Democratic supporter went into a place and like shot up an area or something like that. Or I think it just happened around the time that a lot of bullshit was happening, but there is a dude that he just got sentenced. So no. I'm thinking about a different story. Thank you. But God forbid, one of these individuals that is obviously unhinged. Imagine being so unhinged that you key a stranger's car because you're mad at the person that made it. I don't understand how much more crazy that is. That's bananas. Imagine going to jail for 20 years because you're mad at the guy that made a car. Because that guy that bombed those cars, he's going to get 20 plus years. So, because arson. So just imagine if you're just going to go to jail for 20 plus years because you're mad at some dude. Because some guy is finding corruption in the government. Imagine how he's going to feel when he's sitting in jail. And everybody that's in jail with him is busy looking at him how stupid he is. Because guess what? All they did was find corruption. They weren't doing anything wrong. They weren't Nazis. All they did was find corruption and fix America. And now you in prison for 20 years. You could have been on the outside. You literally just made the decision to go to jail for 20 years for no good reason. If that's not a mental health problem, I don't know what is. Just like when our people be out here shooting and killing each other for no reason. That's a mental health problem. Just like how our people just be hating each other for no reason. They just see you and I don't like his shirt. I hate him. That's it. Look at the way he walk. I think he's limping or he's looking like he's trying to be tough. I hate him. This is our people. That guy, he's happy over there. Grr, I hate him. Those are mental health problems. So is this, oh man, that guy's trying to find corruption in the government, which he's actually doing. Oh, I hate him. How does that work? Oh, I'm going to go to jail for 20 years because he's trying to find corruption in the government. I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm just going to go to jail for 20 years. Doing something that, Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
So if you are a student between the 8th grade and 10th, 11th, you should be thinking about your future, right? Let me be completely honest with you. Application process, competition level, and all the things that you need to fill out is absolutely brutal. Listen, I understand you're freaking out if you're looking at all the application stuff. I'm here for you. First, you don't want to disappoint your parent. Second, you want to be at the top when compared to your friends because they are your competition. 3, the most important one, how are you even going to afford this? Are you going to be able to afford the loans? Are your parents going to be able to afford it? Are you going to get it done? And finally, to me, the most important, what is it you're going to do in college? You want to be able to go there and actually enjoy your future. So is it really going to be worth it? Absolutely. Hi, my name is Gregory Andres, and I am a college coach, college advisor, and an educator. Over the last 10 years, I've had hundreds of students just like you get into prestigious universities like Cornell, NYU, Columbia, and Harvard. Comment education below to get a free checklist from me so it can be an easier process for you to where you want to be.
Sorry about that. I opened up my phone. They had an super old white guy fighting a black dude, big buff black dude. I'm like, did he call him the N-word? Like, there's just a certain point where some super old guy called me the N-word. I'm still walking away. Like, you probably gonna be dead by next week, fam. That's how dude looked. I'm not even gonna argue with you. I don't know why he was beating that old man up. It was crazy. This is crazy. Is this gonna still be there? Yeah, look, this is bananas. I'm not gonna show you the clip, but it's bananas. Look, got fighting a super. Why was he doing that? What did he do? Oh man, old white guy got the shopping cart now. He getting busy. I'm not gonna show y'all no more. Whatever this is. What's happening? Is the white guy? Oh no, the white guy looked like he just attacking him. He was defending himself, y'all. I promise. Or maybe it popped off and the white guy was like, I gotta get mine back. I don't know. Sheesh. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. I don't know who was wrong in that situation, but like this is, I've had super old people say some of the weirdest shit, and you just gotta be like, you gotta have grace. You gotta ask for God's grace in those moments. God, give me the power. Can't beat up the old guys, man. Come on, man. Guys is crazy. Can't beat up the old guys, man. I remember being a teenager and, might be getting into it with, like, somebody that might be, like, in their 30s or their 40s or some shit like that. And it's not well, first of all, I'm always going to show the utmost respect because I want to. You know what I'm saying? I think that's dope when we showing respect to other people. Like, that's the way to live. I feel like a superhero. You feel me? So I always want to show respect first and foremost, just so we could be clear. So it's always weird. So you get into, like, an argument with, like, an older head or whatever the case might be. And it'd be somebody that you respect or whatever the case is. And, it's always, it's like, we're not doing this, man. Like, even, especially if you could win, you could win. It's like, nah, we're not doing this, man. We're not doing this. I don't know where y'all guys came from. Like, nowadays, people fight when they know they could win. When I grew up, people didn't fight when they knew they could win. Like, when it was like, you don't got no chance, it was like, we're not trying to do this. They like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the mindset of the people nowadays on the planet is just totally different. Like, when I was growing up, you knew that the person had no chance. Unless they push you, you had no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way people are now, like, that's why, don't get into it with these people because these niggas are suckers nowadays. Part of my language, but people are suckers nowadays. And you beat them in a fight, and they gonna try to come back and get you. You know what I'm saying? So, especially if you good, especially if you really good fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, get away from that. You know what I'm saying? Just get away from that. They want us to kill ourselves. Why do you think Black Lives Matter is trying to make sure that police get defunded? Because one of the main ways that a lot of violence is being suppressed in our neighborhoods is the presence of the police. I'm not even just talking about the police arresting anybody, but I'm saying them just being present, people being able to see that they are there. You understand what I'm saying? So while I do think that the police need to be audited by a different agency outside of the police agency, but the police do need to have constant auditing. I do believe this. You know what I'm saying? But I also believe that the percentage of crooked police officers is very low. Like, I don't think it's like what people say it is. Like, people act like, yo, it's like half for the police. I don't think it's that. Because I'm going to tell you what happens. Imagine, and this is me talking from personal experience also, being a person like where, like, the last couple of years of my life where people just hated me for no reason. But imagine being a person that people just hate you because of what your job is. You haven't done anything wrong. You've been doing your job well. You love your job. You respect your job. You respect the people that you meet at your job and everything. But everybody just hates you because of your job, because of some other random people's actions or whatever the case is. So people just treat you bad. So a lot of times what I think is happening is these police officers aren't always, because there's douchebags. We all know that there's douchebags. But I don't think these police officers are always on the wrong side of these conversations that y'all be like, yo, that police. I don't think so. Because I think after you've been abused over and over and over, and that's what that is, when you just walk outside and people are just yelling at you for no reason. That's abuse. So after you've been abused over and over and over, you're going to start responding just differently. Not just to abuse, but even to non-abuse. So imagine these people that's been on the police force for 10 years and they haven't had the ability to be policing somewhere where people will appreciate the police. So just like there's douchebags out there, just like there's, some of the worst people are police officers, some of the worst people are teachers. Look at all these teachers sleeping with these children. And a lot of them are women. Just saying. And this is coming from somebody If you speak to the average male, they'll tell you that they had sex with a grown ass woman when it was a minor. You speak to the average male, I promise you. I promise you. Most of them will tell you they had sex with a grown ass woman while they were still a minor. I promise you. Let's get back to our conversation. And these same women, mind you, is going to talk crazy if they see an older man with a younger woman. They're going to talk crazy. Same women. Same women. That the minute they'll be in their 30s, and the minute some little 15-year-old boy look at them sideways, they're going to get that boy off to the side somewhere and figure it out. I'm telling you what it is, fam. And those be the main ones that be mad that some older man got a younger girlfriend. I promise you, be the main ones. Be like, oh, that guy's a pervert. Meanwhile, she done bang like half her class. she pick a new student to bang every year. I promise you, man. Anyway. The effed up part about that is the number of people that know that I'm right. Not the number of people that think that I'm right. The number of people that know that I'm right. That's the effed up part about that. Not all money is good money. That extends past just the idea and concept of money. Let's get back to our show. All right, I got some clips I'm going to show y'all so we can get rolling again. First thing I want to say is this. Democrats always lying.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation? And are you concerned that they're...
Context. Sorry. So...
How concerned are you...
The reason why Trump paused the tariffs, like I said earlier, is because they were never really meant to be enacted. He's just using the tariffs so he can bring everybody to the negotiation table. He doesn't want to negotiate tariffs. He wants to negotiate all types of different things. He wants to negotiate mineral rights. He wants to negotiate being able to put our military over in different areas of the world in order to be able to give us better defense of our empire, if whatever you want to call it. Like, there's different things that he wants to negotiate with different countries, and it's not all about tariffs, but he's using the tariffs as the threat of tariffs as the whip. You understand what I'm saying? It's the threat. So he was always going to pause the tariffs. Why do you think all of those nations called him? That's why. On China, he upped the tariffs. Let's look at something real quick. I want to show y'all something real quick. I don't think I put it in. No, I did. I want to add, this is just in the matter of a day or two.
拆床没人，都说我造谣，造屁的谣啊！
So Trump's tariffs of 104% just hit China effective as we speak. Now, Chinese factories have already released notice to their employees that they're going to be shutting down for a holiday, but they will get some compensations, like very little. But the thing is, it seems manufacturing is going to slow down quite a lot in China. And this is way more devastating for the Chinese economy than it is for the United States. And China is retaliating by boosting the reciprocal tariffs up to 84% to match that of the United States. But they don't care about the livelihoods of the Chinese people, right? But in the end, here's what I'm trying to say is that Trump Thanos'd on the Chinese manufacturing, and we already have videos to show it.
Shout out to that creator. So, just so we could be clear, before we get back to this, just so we could be clear, Adam Schiff, who previously was saying that we need to have tariffs, but they weren't really going to enact tariffs. You understand? They wanted to mess with the market, and they wanted to do the same thing that Trump is doing right now, but on a smaller scale. They wanted to bring people to the negotiation table. They know what Trump is doing. I am saying that they're lying about everything because they know what Trump is doing. I think they are 100% I think they know. I don't think they don't know. I think they know everything is going to get better. You understand? I think they know that these are improvements. I think they know Trump is going to get all the things that he promised us that the American people voted him in the office to do. They know he's going to be able to achieve it. They're trying to prevent him. And these things that he's trying to achieve do benefit the American people. So more on all that below, but first another roundup of the market. Moves on another extraordinary day. I love to hear from you, so please. So this is what happened in the market. Oh, these are all links. Wall Street bosses fear anti-American backlash as Trump trade war intensifies. Okay. Sharp U.S. bond sell-off revives flashbacks of COVID era dash for cash. Okay. Yawn may be cat. I don't know what the fuck. Okay, that's just stuff that's going. I don't know what any of that is. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Japan and Canada agree to cooperate on market stability. Also, might I add, Canada is another country that has really, really close ties with China. Remember that when all of this mess that was going on, when Canada was like, they didn't want to, they was acting like they were going to buck. And then what happened? They came out publicly saying, nah, we want to work with America. All of these nations were coming out publicly, not just calling Trump, but every single person that spoke out against the tariffs, with the exception of China, came out publicly to basically apologize. That's power. The S&P 500 jumps 9.6, NASDAQ 12.2, which is the second best in the history of the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's been around since 1971. The Dow 7.8. This is historic rises in one day. It's the S&P's best day since 2008. Third biggest gain since the 1930s. So this is the third biggest. What happened in the 1920s in America's stock market? So let's just see just how epic this is. So in 1929, there's a reason why I be hitting so many nails on the head, fam. There's a reason why I be hitting so many nails on the head, fam. In any regard. In 1929, that's when Wall Street crashed. And yesterday was the third biggest gain since Wall Street crashed. So not only were the Democrats wrong, because they weren't wrong. That's what I was trying to explain the other day. They were lying. To have this type of effect that was just had for all of those other countries to understand that they needed to apologize basically, or just come to the table because they haven't yet spoken to America, for every country to understand this, but not our own elected officials. No one else thinks that that's bananas. So what else happened in one day? Some $4 trillion was added to the S&P 500's market cap. So it was just epic. So the shit that happened yesterday was like a once in a generation type thing. Like the thing that happened yesterday is something that none of us will ever be alive to see something similar to like that happen again. Like we just experienced a period in time that's going to be spoken about forever during the history of America. And it was a boom for America, just so we could be clear. And no, I'm not misusing the term. But what are your Democratic elected officials telling you? 1 second.
Somebody is mad at you right now because you chose peace over drama and distance over disrespect.
But what are your Democratic elected officials telling you? This is why I keep telling y'all, I'm not mad at the voter. The majority of the people that voted for the Democrats wanted to do the right thing. And when I say the majority, I mean the vast majority. The vast majority of people that were voting for Democrats, they wanted to do the right thing. They believed they were doing the right thing. They just were lied to by people that they trusted. They trust the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers. For some strange reason, the AOCs, I don't get that one. Like, I could see how you could trust the old people because you're like, they old, they've been doing it a long time. Trust. But AOC? Anyway, in any regard. And Hakeem Jeffries, I don't get that either. Cory Booker, I get the Cory Booker, but I don't get the Hakeem Jeffries. Although Cory Booker has been looking really slimy lately. Not for nothing. But I get the Cory Booker for the most part. He's done some good things. I think Cory Booker had a trajectory to do great things. And they stalled him. And they whipped him. And made him comply. Because what y'all don't all know is he didn't always agree with the rest of the Democratic Party. And then all of a sudden he just fell in line. They knocked him out. They removed him from something, and then all of a sudden he just fell in line. Remember, we used to tout Cory Booker on this channel all the time. I used to tell you, I don't really mess with the Democrats, but I mess with Cory Booker. You know, and he changed his message. And he started doing the same message like the rest of them. Don't know what to tell you. This is why I'm a person that you can't let in. Because I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to do the thing that I believe God wants us to do. I'm not going to do the thing. I'm not going to go along to get along. Like the Mysons of the world. Where is Myson and Tamika Mallory? They sold us out. They sold us out. So, if what's being said about the Democratic Party is correct, that means my son and Tamika Mallory sold us out. How do y'all feel about that? That means they completely sold us out. Y'all always mad at these white people. I be mad at all people. I think whatever demographic you belong to, you have a right to fight for y'all well-being. if you're a white person, you should fight for the rights and the well-being of white people. I mean, I don't think you should trample on anybody else's rights, but you should. If you're a black person, you should fight for the rights and the well-being of black people. I don't think you should trample on anybody else's rights, but you should fight for the rights of the people that you feel closely associated to. I fight for the rights of people who believe in the Most High. That's what I consider my demographic to be. I don't consider my demographic to necessarily be black. I consider my demographic to be the people who side with God, independent of, you know, your ethnicity. I'm caring about your theological beliefs. So, you know, it's how you decide to categorize people. So where's my son and Tamika Mannery? They made their money and they bounced. Now you see why my son never wanted to give me an interview. He know I'm too smart for him to talk to. That's why he never gave me an interview. He would have got exposed. He just uses big words. Half of the time, he don't even use them right. I'm not even capping. Listen to him talk. Go to any interview where he was using words bigger than 6 letters. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. So I try to explain this to people often, but I do know when I talk, I remove words from my vocabulary on purpose so I could be better understood. I even change the way that I organize sentences in order for it to be an appropriate syntax for people to be able to gravitate to it quicker or be able to understand it faster, because I actually speak a lot different than when I'm speaking, you know, like in my mind's eye when I'm thinking. I actually speak a lot different than I talk. I talk to be understood. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, Einstein said it best. He basically said, if you can't explain something to a 5-year-old, then you don't know it well enough. So we should be able to communicate when you understand the subject. We should be able to communicate the idea at a level where anyone can comprehend it. So when I hear my son talk and he's always attempting to sound so intelligent, and then I'll be listening and he'll be like, he used that word wrong. That's not how that go. What is he doing? And then I hear him rap and I'll be like, and then he uses so many words wrong when he rap. And then, but, you know, I'll be like, you know, whatever. If people like the way it sounds or whatever, it is what it is. I don't think he did the ritual, so I'm going to applaud him for that. We all know what the ritual is, did he? I don't think he did the ritual, so I'm going to applaud him for that. I don't think he don't get down like that. That he do not get, as far as I know, he don't get down at all like that. And that's why he isn't in the industry. But I am also going to say Busta Rhymes was accused of being part of the LGBTQ community. There's like rumors out there. I don't know if it's true. I'm not saying it is. And this is not something we ever talk about. So, you know, this isn't something that's on my mind. And guess what label was the one that signed my son before he got locked up and went to jail for $1 million? I think it was Busta. I don't know. Hold on. I don't know. That's just, I could be wrong. Let's get back to what we talking about. I'm just BSing this morning. We about to probably end the show though. I'll stay on because I know a lot of people you generally get on, you know, after 9:30 and shit. Because our show used to start at 9:20. What we got? Like an hour. I might be getting off. I might be getting off early though, but it depends. We don't really got nobody talking, so when people ain't talking, I'll be like, I don't know. It is what it is. Let's get back to what we're talking about the tariffs though. So the Democrats actively lying. I don't know any other way to put that. They are actively lying. It's not that they are wrong. What up to the few? It's not that they are wrong. They are actively lying. These aren't things that they cannot know about. You understand? These are not things that, these are things that they should know about.
What's your message?
So look what the Chinese person says.
What's your message to? Have you seen Donald Trump? Do you think he should step in?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
I'm not gonna play it again because he cursed. I'm not gonna play it again because he cursed. Oh man, that gets me almost every time. Oh Lord, my tooth is hurting, so I don't know how much longer we gonna go. My tooth is hurting. Yeah, my tooth is hurting. So I don't know how much longer we gonna go. That's why I sound like this when I'm talking. Yo, these dudes. These dudes are just lying. So this is just proof that the stock market is doing really well. It's doing better than well, actually. So let's see. The VIX index is implied volatility on Wall Street registers. It's the biggest one-day decline ever. Oh, implied validity. I don't know why I said voluntarily. I was busy thinking about something else, by the way. The VIX, sometimes when I'm reading, I'm thinking about other things. Well, not completely. Like, I guess it's like 40 reading, 20 thinking about other things, and then the other percentage is me just daydreaming some of the times. She's pretty. The VIX index of implied volatility on Wall Street registered its biggest one-day decline ever. What is the VIX index? Definition. A real-time market index that measures the market expectation for volatility. Why am I reading that word every other way but the way that it is? The market, because I'm not here, expectation for volatility over the next 30 days. VIX attempts to measure the magnitude of price movement. What does a high VIX mean? VIX measures the market's expectation of volatility over the next 30 days based on S&P 500 index option. A higher VIX value indicates greater anticipated volatility, so a lower VIX value suggests market stability. So let's see what happened. The VIX index of implied volatility on Wall Street registered its biggest one-day decline ever. Wow! So the market is stable. Anybody want me to explain why this happened? I'm not. You know what? I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. All 10 sectors on the S&P 500 rip higher, led to 12% surge in tech and 11% rising in consumer silicals. I don't even know how to say that word, but we're going to figure it out right now. What the heck? I'm sorry I'm doing all this. I hate not knowing something. Cyclical. Why am cyclical? Cyclical? What I said? Cyclical? Cyclical. All right, come on, let's go. Wait, what is that? Cyclicals refer to companies whose performance and stock prices are highly sensitive to the up and downs of the business cycle. They tend to thrive during economic booms and struggle during downturns. So right now, economic boom, as we just heard, real big one. So that led to a 12% surge in tech and 11% rise in consumer cyclicals. Cyclicals. Sheesh. Japanese stock futures point to 10% rise at the open in Tokyo. DAX futures are signaling a rise of 5% at the open in Germany. So the things that Trump did not only affected our stock market, but as we read earlier, it actually improved and affected in a positive way all of the stock markets around the damn planet. I guess with the exception of China. China. Bitcoin went up 8%. The Aussie dollar rallied more than 3%. It's the biggest rise since two. So this is what Trump is doing? This is epic. Yo, this is epic. Hold on, let's see what the Democrats say about the tip. Al Jazeera, I don't read those guys no more. They reported on something that it just seemed biased. So too biased, and they're not one of our local networks, or so I don't want to. I'm gonna have to criticize them, but they're not local, so I don't really want to criticize them because they're foreign. So let them people deal with their shit. I'll talk about our local news because that's the news I should be more concerned with. Democrats say tariffs turbulence will cause GOP the majority. So let's see what they're talking about. Okay, so they're crazy. That's see all that green, right? You see all the green? Anybody else see all the green? So the number on the left, right here, y'all can see my cursor, right? So I can explain what we're looking at. Y'all can see my cursor, right? Okay, so the number over here is what it is. And this is the movement. So this is what it is. This is where it's at. And this on this side is the movement. It's negative 17, negative 04. Right? And as you can see, this is the VIX we was talking about. We want this as low as possible. Because when this is low, that basically means that they got stock stability. So we want this as low as possible. They said that is the lowest. That's the biggest one-day decline ever. Why is everything green? Except for what we don't want to be green. Interesting. So NBC, interesting NBC. Very interesting. The U.S. dollar index, an index measure of the value of the U.S. dollar related to a basket of foreign currencies, often referred to as a basket of U.S. trade partners. For dummies. The foreign index currencies trade point the value of the currency is indicated relative to the, that's what I just read in case the U.S. All right, but I'm looking to, I want to see something real quick. What does it tell you? The U.S. dollar index is a measure of the dollar against the 6 other major currencies. The index is created to help traders understand how strong or weak the U.S. dollar is in relation to the foreign currencies such as the euro, Canadian dollar, and Japanese yen. There's a different question I want answered. Hold on. Nope, I don't know what that is. I'm not accepting nothing, and I'm not clicking nothing on that page. You dudes is wrapped. I'm trying to get a good explanation of what we're looking at. But basically, it's the dollar. It's the value of the U.S. dollar. So the value of the U.S. dollar went down 0.04. This going down is good. And let's check and see what that is real quick. Yep, that's not what I meant to put. I think they auto-correct me. This is a trust. First Family Dorsey Right Movement. Derby implied volatility dip. So that they need this to go down too. So these are both implied volatility indexes, basically. VIX and this one right here. So these being in the negative is a good thing. So that being in the negative is a good thing. That being in the negative is a good thing. This went down, I'm guessing, less low, or it was just something that had to go down. It is what it is. But everything else is green. What are they talking about? What are the Democrats talking about? This guy says families are struggling. Businesses are panicking. I talked to businesses in my district and talked about being tariffed out of business. What are you talking about? This is the market. That's the market. Every single thing within, look at this. I don't want to hear that Democrats don't hate America. Look at this. Look at this. And then boom. I don't want to hear that Democrats don't hate America. Anybody talking to me about Democrats and being like, yo, they don't hate America, I don't want to talk to you no more. Look at this. To them, this is bad. To the Democrats, this is bad. This is what they want you to be upset about. They want you to be upset that our stock market has just had one of the biggest booms in the history of its existence. They want you to be upset about this. They want you to be mad. They want you to go bomb Teslas. They want somebody to unalive the president. They want all of these things because they hate when stuff like the stock market improves. This was what they was warning us about. Trump is going to force us to go into a period of economic expansion. We got to stop him. Now you're going to have some Democratic friends and family who's still going to believe the freaking Democrats. There is people out here that if God came down, proved he was God, so there was no question that he was God. Every person on the planet knew that this was God, just so we could be clear. And then he said Donald Trump is doing the right thing. There's still Democrats that will say, no, he's not. Oh, shoot, it was supposed to rain today, and it's not raining. We're going to do the basketball thing. I got to be ready. But it is cold, so we might not do it. It is cold. Yeah, it's not going to be warm enough. It's going to be an overcast. And it does say it's supposed to rain. Next week is going to be nice. Next week will be better. We got a basketball tournament that we're doing out here. Gotta go put these up. But next week is just better. I think next week is better. Because it's gonna be warm. And we want it to be warm. We want people to be out there having a good time, enjoying themselves, you know? This is a basketball tournament that we're gonna be doing. Shout out to Coach Knight, Miss Priscilla, Coach. I always forget Coach Wilson. Shout out to Coach Wilson. Shout out to Susie and Greg. Definitely got a lot. Shout out to Aiden and shout out to Maya. Those are other people who are greatly involved in making sure that we're able to do some of these things in the community. And there's a lot of parents too, actually. Not a lot, but there's a couple of parents who, if I knew their names, I would 100% also shout them out. There are a couple of parents that show up whenever they're needed, you know. That's a fact. We got this one lady, her kid is not even in the program no more, but she shows up whenever she's needed. Shout out to her. We had a disagreement a while back. She was being a douche. She was though. She was though. Coach had to balk on her. But it is what it is. I still don't really, you know, I don't really want to communicate with you or anything like that. But, you know, you are a good person. Whatever happened. But let's keep our distance still. Because that's just the way that I am. I still want to keep my distance. But that's bananas how, apparently, every single thing that these dudes is doing, as you can see, the Democrats hate America. At this point, I think that's the only way. I'm not even reading the article to y'all. I'm just showing you. There's no reason to read the article. Just so we could be clear, this is the volatility index, right? And we want that to be low because it being low means the market is stable. This is the biggest drop they said since like the third biggest drop or something like that ever. And this is the actual numbers for it. And that's low. Or, you know, biggest drop. Pardon me. And then this is the US dollar, and it went down, but, you know, the value of the US dollar, it went down, but it only went down 0.04, while everything else is, look what these is going up. These aren't small numbers in comparison to their overall campaign. These aren't small numbers. Well, I guess with the exception of that one, but that's only 4.39, and it went up 0.09. That's probably great. Look, these aren't small numbers. These are leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds. Look, that's what it went up. 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 These are leaps and bounds. They just, I'm going to tell you what it is. I promise you, this is what it is. They just assume we don't know nothing about anything. I'm going to give you proof. Why do they keep saying that voter ID is going to hurt black people and women, and they keep saying that black people can't get ID and women can't get ID? What are they talking about? Like, you're a whole grown adult and you don't have the ID, you should probably, you're literally not a grown adult. I don't care what you are chronologically. You have no ID, you're literally not a grown adult. I don't care about how old you are. I don't care about how many years you've been on this planet. I think being an adult has a lot with that. And if you're supposed to be a grown person that can't even either get an ID or keep an ID, you're not an adult. I know grown people that I come across that didn't have IDs. And I'm telling you, they were not adults. Chronologically, they were probably like 25, 26, 32, but they weren't adults. We got to stop thinking an adult is a number. An adult is a behavior, attitude, how you carry yourself. There are a ton of people that's 50, 60, 70 years old, and they ain't lived one adult year. I'm just saying. Perfect example. Even while I'm showing you that I have proof of what I'm saying is wrong, pardon me, I just was reading what the dude wrote. Even though I'm showing you proof of what I'm saying is right. Proof, literal proof. This is, look, the proof right here. Look, literal proof, right? We still have someone in the comment section, just so we could be clear. Hold on. And this is what I mean by, you gotta take all this stuff with a grain of salt, man. Like, there's people that they hate America. They hate everything. They hate people. They hate God. They hate everything. So all they want to do is whatever's the opposite of whatever God wants. There's a lot of people like this, man. This is one of these people right here. Look, I'm gonna show you. Now, I just showed you 100% proof that I know what I'm talking about. And look what this guy writes in the comment section. I showed you 100% proof that I know what I'm talking about, right? Proof. I mean, I'm showing you the proof of we're doing it. I just kicked this guy because I'm showing you proof. How am I lying about a thing that I'm showing you proof to? I'm not telling you. All I'm doing is showing you the proof. Democrats said that this was a horrible move. They're saying it's a horrible move right now. What are you talking about? Is he slow? Look, I don't know what I'm talking about as I'm showing proof. So you have to understand, some people, they're just evil. They're just terrible people. They don't have no purpose, no reason for existing. The only reason why they're here is to just do whatever Satan's plans are. Whatever things Satan can think about to get them to do. That's the only reason why they're on earth, is to do Satan's mission. That's it. They're gonna go to hell. And you got to start looking at people like that. If you don't start looking at people like that person is gonna go to hell, you're gonna be friends with a lot of people you shouldn't talk to. Got to start looking at it like that. Just saying. All sectors on the S&P 500, we read that already. Bitcoin, a $39 billion auction of a 10-year treasury draws solid demand and a whopping 87.9 allocations to indirect bidders, often seen as a proxy for foreign central banks. I'm not even sure what that is implying or what that is about, and I'm not going to hold y'all. All of this happened because Trump paused the tariffs. The Democrats have just been lying to you. That's it. They're just liars. They're just liars that want to turn the people who believe in them into fools. That's it. They just want to turn everybody that believes into them into fools. They're not turning people into fools by accident. They're doing it on purpose. That's my point. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. Look. And the Democrats are so mad that the stock market is improving. I need somebody to explain to me why this is bad. I thought I was going to be able to see the article, and then a damn commercial popped up. Still got the beef going on with China, the lack of respect China has shown the world's markets, because China has been screwing the rest of the world over for years. China has been screwing the rest of the world over for years. So when he paused that on the stock market, that made everybody have more faith that Trump is going to do the thing that he told them that he's going to do. Remember, they're calling him and they're negotiating with him, and he's talking to them, and he's telling them, don't worry about nothing. Everything is going to be fine. Or you just don't retaliate. That's all they saying. Everything's going to be fine. Just don't retaliate. And then he did the thing he said he was going to do. That's why the stock market went up. Because every nation was prepared. And if every nation was prepared, that means all of these companies were prepared. Everybody was ready and waiting. And when they saw him do the thing, now everybody's buying. Because guess what? China's about to be X'd out of so many markets. Remember, if they can't sell in America, you know what kind of problem that's going to be? More importantly, if everybody starts shipping their factories to America, that means China can't do the number one thing that China's been doing for the last 40, 50 years. And that's stealing people's designs and making off-brands. I don't think people really understand what's going on. I don't think people really understand what's going on. Temu about to go out of business. Y'all better buy only. Could you even? I don't know. The tariffs probably kicked in, so Temu is probably out of business as we speak. Because remember, Temu be selling you stuff dumb cheap. You just got to pay for the shipping. Now the shipping is about to go up 125%. Better stay awake, man. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, fam. They got people falling for the banana in the tailpipe, I promise you. What else is the title on? Just so we can be clear. Because my tooth is killing me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be talking. My tooth is killing me. It's been hurting like 2 days now. Because I was doing a thing with the kids the other day, and I was just yelling like crazy. Just yelling. And then my voice started hurting. My voice started hurting. So my tooth started hurting. So I've been screwed up since then. I came like straight home. Like usually I have coach like drive me home. I ride home with everybody else. We drop everybody off, and then I come home. I've been like last with coach or whatever the case is, but I came straight home. I was like, nah, I gotta walk today. I was not feeling it. I wish I would have rode too, though, for a different reason. I wish I would have rode, but I didn't. I think they all went out to go get like we all like kind of eat together every once or twice a week. Not really. We just all go buy the food together. I think they all go eat together. I come home. Be honest with you, I just come home. I like being home, man. You don't gotta argue with nobody at home. I don't argue with nobody. You know? Anyway, I want peace. I want to be peaceful. I want to bring peace to others, and I want others to bring peace to me. All that other stuff I don't want. I don't want none of that. All that other, I like boring. I like exciting. Don't get it confused, but I'm fine with boring. There's very few females that could think that they're too boring for me. You can't be too boring for me. You could just be somebody I'm not attracted to, but you can't be too boring. I promise you. I will bring all the fun if need be. Like all the fun stuff, I'll bring it. How about that? I think of new games every day. I promise you. I promise you. I just be sitting around thinking of fun things to do. I promise you. I literally do that. In any regard, I'm gonna have to get off of here because my mouth is definitely hurting. My tooth is killing me. I hope I covered everything today. Alleged Schumer fraud. I think I got a clip. Adam Schiff.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation, and are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Also, might I add that he didn't want Trump to do the tariffs. So then Trump said, I'm going to pause the tariffs. So he criticized Trump for enacting the tariffs, and now he's criticizing Trump for pausing the tariffs. Y'all do know what manipulation is, right? I'm just assuming. I'm assuming people know what manipulation is. We all know what manipulation is, right? Like how people come into my chat and try to argue both sides of the argument, and then I just kick them because I'm not doing that. Why are you trying to waste both our time? You're just wasting our time. We could have been doing something productive. I don't like you.
What's your message to...
All right, so Adam Schiff, who's actually flip-flopping, because he was like, Trump gonna destroy the world with these tariffs, destroy America, is undemocratic. We're gonna go get a judge to say he can't do the tariffs. I think they did that. I'm not sure. They always go into a judge. And then when Trump pauses the tariffs...
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation, and are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right? Should there be some other independent investigation into this?
Well, I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration. I think you're right. They're likely to stonewall, particularly if they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading. But they won't be able to hide it for good. I mean, we know who's in the administration. We can look at eventually what people are buying and selling. This will come out. But an administration that has their own meme coins and is already engaged in self-interested dealing when Elon is doging agencies that are doing oversight of his own businesses, in that kind of corrupt climate, you have to assume the worst, and we're going to try to find out.
So, no matter what Trump do, they argue he should have did something else. So I want to explain something to y'all. Remember who had all of their clearances revoked? So they're mad that they don't know what Trump is doing before Trump do it. Like they really think that they're supposed to have all of the inside details on Trump, a guy who they just constantly disrespect and constantly try to get him put in prison. And they think that they should know the inside intricacies of his plans. Do y'all understand what happened during his first administration now? There was people giving him his plans. So they were able to get in the way. They were able to block his plans. Now they don't got nobody to give them the information about what Trump is doing. So now they can't stop him. They can't lie to the American public. I know how that feels because that's what people had did to me. I had some people that were close to me, that were working with me, and they worked against me. They just, so many things that we were actually doing, and they just worked against me. And so, no, this just hits different for me. Seeing some people that did some evil to me get they, not these people, but seeing somebody that did something similar to me, somebody else doing something that someone did that was similar to something that someone did to me, getting their comeuppance. I'm really impressed with myself that I was able to say that without writing a sentence down to figure it out. I gotta go on through it. Oh man. Oh man, I'm a Sims 4 player now, by the way. Y'all don't get the joke. That is a very particular joke. That's only for 3 people. That joke is actually only for me and 2 other people. The only ones, and one of them might not laugh. I gotta go. Oh man. Yo, look, I love y'all, man. Look. The Democrats are screwed. They've completely screwed themselves. They're done. We need new Democratic leadership. We need some people to come out that are not a part of what's going on now. And that's going to take some time. That's going to take a couple of years, and that's just what it is. So, strap in and understand that everything that's happening right now was supposed to. Because there's a thing that's coming. That's the most important thing that has ever existed. And what is happening now has to happen. So if what's happening now has to happen, we already have information about a thing that is supposed to be coming, so we should be ready and prepared. Think about the people who are against it and realize what energy they actually are channeling. We are not supposed to be involving ourselves with a lot of this stuff. And what I mean by that is, these are just things that are supposed to happen. And for one of the sides, it's going to go terribly wrong. We got to do better. And we got to stop being driven by our emotions. And all the Democrats want you to do is think about your emotions. And this is not an attack on anyone, but that is dangerous for a man to just be emotionally driven on all of their decisions. It's dangerous. That's why our young boys is out here killing themselves, killing each other, because they're coming from households that's teaching them that how they feel is more important than the facts. I don't want to hear no more of my truth. Your truth is a lie. Okay? Your truth is tailored and patterned to make you have to not be held responsible for whatever the actions is that you're culpable of, that you've been doing. So I don't want to hear about nobody's truth. I only want to hear about the actual truth, the facts. And the facts are, the Democrats have either been wrong or have been actively lying to the American public for the last minimum 8 years. And now it's time for their comeuppance. With that being said, I love y'all. Go out there into the world, do something great today. Stamp God's name on it. Let people know that you come in the name of God. That's how babies are made. That was a very, very funny line, by the way. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Boomers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this. I might have to change that tagline soon, by the way. I love it. Right? I love it. But I might have to change it soon. But maybe I won't. I don't know.
Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.